Good evening, everyone, and thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for tonight's Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. At this time, we'll have the roll call. Mr. Holcomb.
Chairman Washington.
Here.
Chairman Washington.
Here.
Vice Chairman Grout.
Here.
Commissioner Addison. Commissioner Boyd. Commissioner Brownell.
Here.
Commissioner Coleman.
Present.
Commissioner Ellender.
Here.
Commissioner Fowler. Commissioner Scroggs. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Director Holcomb. At this time, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the September 15th meeting? There's a motion from Commissioner Ellender, second by Vice Chairman Grout. Are there any objections to approving the minutes? Seeing none, these items have now been approved. At this time, I'll ask the Vice Chairman to read in the rules for conducting a public hearing.
Rules for conducting public hearings. This is a public meeting. Any interested member of the public who wishes to speak, who wishes to comment on an item from this agenda may comment in person at City Hall, 222 St. Louis Street, 3rd floor, room 348, during the meeting. Members of the public desiring to speak on a particular item should refer to the meeting agenda and complete the necessary information prior to the meeting by filling out a request to speak card indicating which item you wish to speak on and place it in the designated location prior to the meeting. Applicant and applicant's representatives for the proposal will speak first for a total or combined period not to exceed 15 minutes. Proponents will speak and then the opponents. Each speaker will not be allowed more than 3 minutes. Speakers are requested to limit their remarks by avoiding duplication of their presentations. Applicant will be allowed a total period of 5 minutes for rebuttal. Opponents will not be allowed to rebut. Items placed on the consent agenda by the Planning Commission staff will not have time allocated for speaking unless there is a member of the public at the meeting who wishes to speak on the item. In such cases, the proposal will follow the standard procedure. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Grout. Commissioners, we will now move on to the consent agenda. Mr. Baldwin.
Consent items for deferral. Item 9, CS 1125, W.Y. Pettit Tract, 7740 Pettit Road. Proposed flag lot minor subdivision located on the west side of Pettit Road, north of Water's Edge Avenue. Deferred by Councilmember Kenny to December 15th. Consent items for approval. Item 2, case 3425, 4914 Government Street, to rezone from light commercial C1 to commercial alcoholic beverage restaurant CAB1 on property located on the south side of Government Street, east of Bienville Street. Item 4, case 3725, 1927 South River Road, to rezone from Plan Unit Development PUD to Heavy Commercial 2 HC2 on property located on the east side of South River Road, north of Hague Street. Item 5, case 3825, 1857 Government Street, to rezone from Commercial Alcoholic Beverage Restaurant CAB1 to Commercial Alcoholic Beverage Bar and Lounge CAB2 on property located on the north side of Government Street, west of South 19th Street. Item 6, case 3925, 7477 Burbank Drive, to rezone from Small Plan Unit Development SPUD to Light Commercial 2 LC2 and a portion of Commercial Alcoholic Beverage Bar and Lounge CAB2 on property located on the north side of Burbank Drive, west of South Kenilworth Parkway. Item 7, case 4025, 5825 through 5875 Airline Highway, to rezone from Heavy Commercial C2 and Commercial Alcoholic Beverage Restaurant CAB1 to General Residential A4 on property located on the east side of Airline Highway, north of Greenville Street. Item 8, Cup 725, Big Rock Oaks New Retreat Center, 18222 Stony Point Birch Road. Proposed retreat center reception hall on property located on the south side of Stony Point Birch Road, west of Greenville Springs Road. Planning Commission staff certifies that all of these items are consistent with the comprehensive plan and the Unified Development Code.
Thank you. Director Holcomb, I'll quickly note that the heart and soul of this commission, Commissioner Addison, is present. Commissioners, you've heard all of the items that have been placed on the consent agenda and will be taken with one vote. Are there any members of the Planning Commission who have an item they would like pulled from the consent agenda to be heard as part of the regular agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I need to make a note. Item 8, Cup 725, Big Rock Oaks New Retreat Center, 18222 Stony Point Birch Road, has been requested to be pulled from the consent agenda and heard in regular agenda order.
Thank you. Item 8 will be pulled from the consent agenda. Are there any members of the public present who would like to speak on any additional item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, is there a motion from the commission? I'm sorry? No, not at this time. Is that item on the consent agenda?
That item was on the consent agenda, but
That's
now,
already been pulled.
that's correct.
The item you're interested in has already been pulled, sir. Is there a motion from the commission? Are there any members that would like, any members of the public that would like any additional items pulled? If not, is there a motion from the commission to approve the remaining consent agenda items? There's a motion from Commissioner Addison, second from Commissioner Coleman. Are there any objections? Seeing none, these items have been approved. We can now get ready to move on to the regular agenda.
Mr. Chairman, we can now move on to item 3, case 3625.
Case 3625, 10910, and 10920, South Haven Park Court. Property is located on the south side of South Haven Park Court, west of Haven Park Drive, Council District 6, Dunn Jr. The applicant is Keithan Emery. Future BR land use designation is commercial. The existing zoning is heavy commercial, C2, with the requested zoning of commercial alcoholic beverage restaurant, CAB1. Case 3625, 10910, and 10920, South Haven Park Court.
Staff certifies that the proposed request meets the criteria for a change of zoning, being consistent with the comprehensive plan, compatible with surrounding uses, and conforming to the Unified Development Code requirements.
The Planning Commission office has received one message in opposition leading up to this meeting.
Thank you, Director Holcomb. Commission members, at this time, I'll open the public hearing and invite the applicant to speak for a period not to exceed 15 minutes. Good evening.
Good evening. So I'm going to kind of read from this, something I wrote just to make sure I catch everything. But just going to go from what I wrote. Good evening. My name is Keithan Emery. I stand before you today to respectively request the rezoning of my wedding venue from heavy commercial C2 to CAB1. By way of my background, I've been a lifelong resident of Baton Rouge, and throughout my time here, I've been deeply committed to contributing to our community. I earned my bachelor's degree from Southern University, and for the past 19 years, I've been a licensed residential and commercial general contractor. In addition, I own and operate an early child care learning institute, which has grown to 4 locations and has proudly served families over 16 years. My latest business venture is the development of opening a wedding venue. The purpose of this rezoning request is to allow the venue to serve alcohol alongside meals, aligning it with the standards of nearly all other wedding venues in Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas. Under the current C2 zoning, I'm permitted to operate a wedding venue. However, I cannot serve alcohol unless the establishment was classified as a restaurant or theater. The rezoning would simply allow me to offer the same amenities, experiences that guests expect at a full-service event venue, nothing more, nothing less. To ensure transparency and community involvement, Councilman Cleve Dunn, Planning Director Ryan Holcomb, and I recently hosted a community awareness event. We invited nearby residents to visit the venue, ask questions, and share any concerns. The event was positive and constructive, and I believe everyone left with a clear understanding of our vision and a mutual expectation of how the venue will operate. Thank you for your time, consideration on this request. I'm proud to continue investing in Baton Rouge and look forward to making the venue a place our community can be proud of. All right.
Thank you. We have 2 cards that are in opposition. One wishes to speak. This is Deborah Semino. Correct me, please.
Semino. It's the good Italian one. And yes, I can make pizza.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please proceed. You have 3 minutes.
I'm Deborah Semino. I am on the board of the HOA for Sherwood Forest. And at this point, it says I'm opposed. Really, we are neither opposed nor in favor of this. But I thought it was important that, you know, y'all know that we have indeed talked to Mr. Keithan, and I've had conversations with the neighbors. These 2 pieces of property, like, his property ends, and we have residential neighborhoods that are right behind it. And so between the building and the house, I would say it's less than 50 feet. So there is a big concern on the neighbors, for the neighbors, what is their life going to be like with the noise? And so that's what we have been in conversations with Mr. Keithan about, what he can do to make sure that the noise is not an issue, because let's face it, it's a wedding venue. And so anyway, that is where Sherwood Forest stands at this point, and we will be talking further with him before the Metro Council meets. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Semino. The other speaker card is for James Gray, but they've indicated they do not wish to speak. At this time, I'll invite the applicant back for a 5-minute rebuttal.
Okay, just to kind of rebuttal what she said, we did have a meeting, and the actual HOA of the president, who actually sent the opposition letter after the meeting, she left saying she wasn't going to come today because she was in favor of me doing what I'm doing. As far as the noise, I mean, that's not what we're actually here for. We're here to do the CAB1, just the restaurant style. The actual building is actually zoned correctly for it being a wedding venue. That's not actually what we're here to talk about, is noise, which we've already talked about, and we've made accommodations on what we will do and what we won't do, times that we will open, times we will close. The actual property and the courtyard is maybe about 100, I would say between 125 feet from the courtyard or more to the actual residence. We have put buffers in place as far as 8-foot fencing. We have actual a brick fence buffer as well, 8-foot fence buffer, and we also have landscaping behind that fence with trees to actually accommodate to help for that noise that they could possibly have. But I don't insinuate us having any other noise other than just your normal regular talking and stuff in the courtyard. Everything else will be done inside the actual wedding venue. So I don't foresee that being a problem. That's a long step with any other venue that they have out right now, as far as the from the actual venue to the actual residence. You have locations like Boudreaux's, who has a wedding event on Government Street. Then they're right behind the residence. You have the Guru, they're right behind it. A lot of stuff on the actual Government Street and other actual wedding venues, they actually have residents right behind them. And that hasn't been a problem, but we're actually here to do the CAB1 and not really talk about the noise. Now, I don't know if that's something that you all address with the actual CAB1, but I just don't want everything to get misconstrued and we're talking about noise when we're actually zoned to be an actual wedding venue. So that's just my rebuttal to that. But like I said, we actually talked to them. I've talked to Debbie and Ms. Sue. I mean, talk to everybody in depth of what we plan on doing and to make sure that we actually an asset to the community, not a liability. We're not here to bump heads. We want to make sure we're working together to make sure everything is copacetic with one another. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. You can remain right there. We'll probably have a question or two for you. Director Holcomb, you attended the meeting, the aforementioned community meeting. Did Councilman Dunn indicate any opposition to this project?
No, Councilman Dunn helped organize this meeting along with representatives from the adjacent neighborhood. I did share with him the one early comment we did receive of concern prior to that community meeting. After that community meeting, Councilman Dunn was in touch with me, and we both felt the meeting was very constructive and went well. He is dedicated to continuing to work with the neighborhood with their concerns as this project moves forward and on to council.
Okay, good deal. And so, and the applicant kind of mentioned, but basically they are with the existing zone, I believe is HC1. They are AC2, C2. They're able to operate a wedding venue now. The only difference is that they would be able to serve alcohol instead of a BYOB kind of situation. That's
correct. They have to operate primarily with the majority of the sales and receipts being from food, not alcohol. That was explained at the meeting to the neighborhood and to the applicant. So that is the request, Chairman, is the rezoning from C2 that does currently allow event centers and reception halls to CAB1 for the footprint of the building that would allow on-premise alcohol with the majority of the food sales being required, the majority of the sales and receipts being required to be from food, not alcohol.
Okay. I will say I always appreciate when an applicant, coordinates with the council to set community meetings and meet with the people that are going to be directly affected by what they're proposing. So it sounds like that happened, and it's very good. My only concern really would be the level of disturbance. And you kind of mentioned that you have some buffers that you put in place with the residents and whatnot. That I'm assuming the primary activity will be taking place indoors. That's kind of what you alluded to. Did I understand that correctly?
Correct.
Okay. Vice Chairman Grout.
Mr. Director, it's my understanding that if there are a lot of noise questions or a lot of noise complaints, that can affect their alcohol permit. I know we do not do alcohol permits, but I mean, I think you're well aware that there are a number of things that can get your alcohol permit suspended, I suppose. And one of them can be a noise. Is that correct?
That's correct. This
Okay.
is just the first step on the rezoning to be
Right.
considered. There is a separate process, a separate permit from the ABC office that is
Correct.
required, and there are steps that
I was-
body can revoke
I was just
a
more
permit.
wanting the local neighbors to know that, the applicant has to be on his good behavior, because he could lose his liquor license if he has a lot of problems with noise. And so, I appreciate that. And where did Debbie go? Oh, there you are. Okay. All right. So that was my only question, my only concern, and make sure that that's known. But I compliment you for reaching out, for getting together with the community, with the neighborhood, with council. I think you're to be commended for doing that. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chairman Grout. Are there any other questions for the applicant or any comments from the commission? If not, are there any motions? There's a motion, I believe, to approve this item from Commissioner Coleman. Is there a second? Second from Commissioner Ellender. Are there any objections or any further discussion? Seeing none, this item is approved.
Thank you.
I believe at this time we'll move on to item number 8.
That's correct. Item 8, Cup 725.
725, Big Rock Oaks New Retreat Center, 18222 Stony Point Birch Road. Property is located on the south side of Stony Point Birch Road, west of Greenville Springs Road, Council District 1, Knoll. The applicant is Matthew Landry. Future BR land use designation is agricultural rural. The applicant is proposing a retreat and event center with cabins for small group professional training. The existing zoning is rural with no requested zoning change. Cup 725, Big Rock Oaks New Retreat Center, 18222 Stony Point Birch Road.
Staff certifies the proposed request meets the minimum criteria for a conditional use permit, being consistent with the comprehensive plan, compatible with surrounding uses, and conforming to UDC requirements.
Thank you. Commission members, at this time, I'll open the public hearing and invite the applicant to speak for a period not to exceed 15 minutes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having us. My name is Dan Ducote, and my business partner is Rich Major. We have purchased this property less than a year ago, but Rich and I are both business people in Baton Rouge. We co-founded about 7 years ago a company called Ingenuity Global, where we do process automation and controls and electrical engineering. And we started with 4 people, and today we have over 100 employees. And part of that was the growth that we had that was so successful was getting involved with Louisiana economic development. who does CEO roundtable programs, and I got involved with that, and it was able for me to learn more how to grow a company and treat employees and build a culture and everything. And it meant so much to me that Louisiana Economic Development has a relationship with a foundation in Cassopolis, Michigan called the Edward Lowe Foundation. Mr. Edward Lowe was an entrepreneur back in the 40s who invented a product and a brand called kitty litter, and he developed the market for it. And 40 years ago, he endowed $190 million to the Edward Lowe Foundation. And what the sole purpose was, he believed that small businesses were the key in success to growing the country, and that he wanted to put literally all his money on the line to help entrepreneurs grow and be successful. I've probably spent over the last 4 years 8 or 10 trips out there. It's 2,000 acres of the most beautiful property you can imagine, with a lot of little cabins and houses scattered amongst it, that the LED actively sends business people from here for mentor-mentee type programs and different trainings, including a program that I went to was a legacy council, was identifying what my legacy would be after I transitioned from our business. They thought, and Mr. Lowe thought, that when you combined great resources and entrepreneurs helping entrepreneurs with nature, magical things happen. And trust me, when you go there, it is an unbelievable experience. So part of my legacy as defined when I went through Legacy Council was, how special would that be if we could do something here in Louisiana? Rich and I have been looking for a piece of property forever. We found this location, and it's absolutely beautiful. Rich lives in Baton Rouge. I live in Central, so I'm very close to this property. And the property was almost dying, if you can imagine, this overgrowth and just kind of killing it. There's some of the most beautiful 300-plus year live oak trees. So it's the perfect setting for us to bring a retreat center, not a reception hall. We're not doing anything with a reception hall. It's a retreat center that has a footprint of about 2,900 square feet, very small, smaller than some big houses. And all we're going to do is have between 8, 10 entrepreneurs come in on a 1, 2, or 3-day retreat where we can bring in some of our experts that this brain trust power that have experienced and help businesses grow or have lived it on their own and grown businesses and help giving back to the community. We feel that the lifeblood of businesses growing forward, we're so confident that we can change that our number one goal is to fundamentally change the GDP in the United States. That may be a little arrogant, but we feel that with the brain trust that we have and the knowledge base that we have, we can help entrepreneurs grow. So this center, this property is going to be used to hold these small retreats and have the entrepreneurs stay on site so they can experience the beauty of the property and nature that some of these people have never seen. They're going to come from all over the U.S., and including some people from Louisiana. We've already held the first 2 retreats at another property we have from the LED and Edward Lowe Foundation. It's the first time they've ever done events outside of Michigan, and they've done them in Louisiana. So this is just going to bring more and more business that we feel to Louisiana, and training and helping successful entrepreneurs that are maybe at first stage graduate and get to second stage businesses. So the magic of this property is us to develop it. We're going to be using it firsthand. So a major concern of ours is drainage. We have to use every inch of that property to let people go out and ponder and really get away from the office and go explore the property and get away and find a location that they can sit and be inspired by nature. And that's what we hope to develop. So we want to make this property come alive, be pristine again, and then use it as a personal property too, because Rich and I are retired, semi-retired, and we want to enjoy the property too. We both have grandkids that we're going to let them go out there and enjoy the property with us. This is something that we don't anticipate more than 8 or 10 people ever being at a retreat. Now, is that to say there won't be 15 or so? Maybe, but that's kind of pushing our limit, because on the property, it's going to have one 2,900 square foot location, and we have pictures, renditions of it. And then we're going to have 6 small little cabins, 2-bedroom, 2-bath cabins, footprint maybe 500 or 600 square feet, that are used for the entrepreneurs to stay at night, so they don't have to go. There's no hotels in the area, so to have them be able to stay there and get the full experience is exactly what we're looking for. So we can know that we control the situation, the scene, and get them the content that'll help them grow as a business person, and that's our main goal. Again, I know it says reception hall. We have zero plans to ever do a reception hall. That is not what we are trying to do right here. This building right here is 2,900 square feet, and the small cabins are strictly to house entrepreneurs when they go there. LED is back, kind of backs us. We tried to contact Mr. Brandon Noel. I think our congressman, or our district councilman, we've made numerous attempts, but did not get a call back for the last couple of months. So I'd have loved to have engaged him, and we initially told him what we were doing, or what our idea or our plan to do. And he said, as long as we wasn't building a subdivision or impacting the footprint of the neighborhood, he didn't see anything wrong with it. And I'm not going to say that's his exact words. Feel free to ask him. But we did at least tell him what we plan to do with the property. I know we have some people that want to talk, and I can be glad to answer any questions when we finish.
Thank you, sir. And we have one additional speaker card listed as the applicant for Matthew Landry. Do you have anything to add at this time? Okay, no worries. We have two cards that I believe are in opposition. One wishes to speak. That's for Theodore Powell. You can come to the podium at this time, sir. And you have the floor for 3 minutes.
Okay, I live at 18456 Stony Point Birch Road. My daughter's house is 18446 next door. We did not get a notification. They say, well, we were not in the area, but the guy on the other side, farther down, got a notification. We don't understand that. I have several questions. You planning on rezoning this from what to what?
Sir, this is your time to make comments. You can make questions, and we'll take notes.
Well, my comments are, we're concerned about flooding because there's a flood zone backs up to my property. And at one time, there was a ditch stopped up back there that I could not get the city parish to come out. Mr. Brandon Noel would not come out and look. And I had wood ducks swimming in my backyard. That's one of my concerns. The next concern is, and I've spoken to these gentlemen, and I hope they're being upfront with me. There will be no hunting, i.e. hunting clubs, high-powered rifles and stuff like that. I have a chicken house with 243 bullets in it. So that's one of my concerns. The Clean Waters Act, what are we going to do about infrastructure for sewer and stuff like that? Is that going to be taken care of? You're talking about 6 cabins, 6 cottages, the center there, not the reception center, but the center there. I mean, that's something to be thought about. And then, of course, I said about the watershed problem. I've got a spot right there on the back of my property. My insurance went from $450 a year to $1,270 a year. That doesn't make sense, but because of a little spot, the watershed, you got to leave it open. And a question about, I have no problem people hunting back there, but my problem is this. I don't want somebody with a 4470 shooting toward my house. And if you shoot with a shotgun, I have no problems with that. But if you're going to have people back there hunting, make sure they're hunting with shotguns, not rifles. There is a state law that you cannot shoot a rifle within so many feet of residential areas. And that's my concerns. And I've talked to these gentlemen today, and we're going to talk about some other things, and maybe we can work this out. But I want it on record that I don't want my house to flood. And if it stops, the drainage is stopped up back. I was raised in that property. I've been out there since 1946. I was raised there. I know every slough, every ditch, every hole in the ground. I know all of that back in there. I knew the gentleman that used to own it, Mr. Strickland, and I've been in his orchards and all that good stuff. So, but I know we don't want to be flooded, and we don't want people back there shooting high-powered rifles. That's a concern. Thank you.
Thank you. Our other card is for Doug Barlow, but he indicated that he does not wish to speak. That correct? Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay. If you wish to speak, you can come to the podium, sir. If not, we'll move on. If you're speaking, you need to be at the podium so that we can get your comments on record, is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. You can come to the podium and ask your question.
I'll rephrase, okay? I'll rephrase the question is, one of my concern is, I have about 2,000 feet of property that borders the land that they have. And if they're going to put people back there, I'm concerned with the liability that I might have for people wandering from there onto my property. There's nothing to keep them out of there. Also, I'm concerned about what this might do to my property value. So that was my questions.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay. At this time, I'll invite the applicant back for a 5-minute rebuttal.
Thank you. And look, we understand all the concerns that any neighbor has out there. We're not opening this up to people that are going to be shady. These are professional business owners from all over the country. They're going to understand, hopefully, now understands with some of our neighbors' concerns, that we'll educate them on boundaries and where to cross and where not to. Because they're going to be at a property they're probably not familiar with. We're going to have clear marked paths that they can go on and where to go and not go. Drainage, we don't want it to flood either. If it floods, we can't have a business. So we're going to be the main concern of making sure that this property doesn't flood. And we want to keep, and if anything, of the property value, we want to raise the property value. We're business people. I want our property value to soar. And I think by what we're doing now, by cleaning that property up and bringing it back to life, I invite anybody to come out there and look at it. You can see some of the most beautiful land that these young men live and where we live and going to grow. And it's beautiful property. And it's going to accomplish the exact thing that we want to do, letting other people see it and get to know it, and then our families to enjoy. We have zero intention of turning it into a hunting club, but I have 9 grandkids, and Rich has 5. And there's no doubt we grew up hunting, we grew up fishing. More than likely, we're going to hunt out there. We take hunter safety extremely, important, and don't plan on shooting towards the home. That's kind of basic hunter safety that we're going to educate all of our kids and grandkids, and it won't be them out there unsupervised. So that's kind of the way we do it. We're going to be in there with them. So there's going to be a limited space. We want to preserve the nature and the beauty. When we drive out there and the deer are everywhere, we hadn't shot one gun yet in a year that we've been out there. We haven't done that. We want to preserve it. We like the fact that people can come to this retreat and see ducks fly out of the slough and see deer run across the road and see turkeys fly away. We don't really want to shoot that, but part of right management is clearing out trees when they need to be cleared and clearing out a herd of wildlife when they need to be cleared out, or the overpopulation is worse than not doing anything. So we're going to conserve with the best practices out there without harming anybody, and that's our full intention. We want to get along with our neighbors. I invite them to come out there and see what we're doing and see that what we're creating is hopefully a beautiful thing for the community. And that's all I have to say, unless Rich has anything. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Commission members, at this time, I'll close the public hearing. I'll ask Director Holcomb to briefly touch on a couple points. The applicant mentioned concern about notification. If you could just kind of touch on how the planning office handles notifications. And then he was under the impression that this is a rezoning, which it is not. It's the application is for a conditional use permit. If you could just kind of quickly touch on those two things.
Certainly. As far as the community outreach, reach and require notification. Our department is required to notify, not only post the subject property, which we did. We put a yellow sign on the property on September 22nd. I believe we had a picture that was shown at the beginning of this item. In addition to that, we send out notification cards to adjacent property owners within 300 feet of the outer extremities of the property. We did that, and we have a list of those notifications that went out. That is public record. We'll be happy to get with the citizens that are here tonight that have concerns, but I can assure you that was done. In addition to those notifications, we also post our agenda, our staff report, that's done well in advance of this meeting, and also run required legal ads in the Advocate that was done on October 10th, 14th, and 16th. As far as the item before you tonight, this is a conditional use permit request. It is not a rezoning, so the zoning of the property will remain rural. That's not up for consideration. What is up for consideration tonight is the request before you that was presented. Also, what was attached to the item on the agenda center that you have before you. It is the building, and the cabins that are associated with that. That's up for consideration, but the zoning is not changing tonight.
Thank you, Director Holcomb. Questions or comments from the commission?
I have one question too to ask, but if before.
One second, sir. Vice Chair McGraw.
Is the gentleman from the designer, the architect, can you come forward?
Didier Architecture, this is Matthew.
Good evening, Matthew Landry, Didier Architecture.
Question, I know the comment came up about flooding and drainage.
Yes.
I know this is a cup. You all will get into the technical design, of course, when you start with the second part of this process and getting into permitting. But if I'm correct, you all cited these cabins specifically outside of the flood zone?
Correct.
Outside of AE?
Correct. All of the development is outside of the flood zones for specific reasons.
So you're not touching anything that would impact
Correct.
water drainage currently as it stands now?
Correct.
Okay.
That's definitely the objective.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure of that. Thank you.
And these are just the preliminary plans. If this were to be approved, the applicant would, of course, be required to submit the more detailed
Plans
permit requirements. Any
and
associated
calculations.
required drainage studies would have to be done and reviewed by the permit prior to any work being done on the property.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Holcomb. Other questions or comments from the commission? There are no more questions or comments. Is there a motion? There's a motion from Commissioner Addison to approve this item. That motion received a second from Vice Chairman Grout. Are there any objections? Any further discussion? Seeing none, that item is approved.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll move on to communications, beginning with director's comments.
Just a few things to remind you at your seats. You'll find an initial copy of revisions to Chapter 18, which is our landscape ordinance. This was initiated as part of the beginning of the year work program that was approved in January. This proposed text amendment will be on an upcoming agenda. There will be more information in a staff report that will be shared at a future Planning Commission meeting regarding this. The only other items to bring your attention to, the Planning Commission office will be closed on November 11th in observance of Veterans Day, and the next Planning Commission meeting will be on November 17th.
Thank you, Director Holcomb. At this time, we'll move on to commissioners' comments, and I'd like to take this time to congratulate the newest employee of the month, Christian Smith, who's a senior planner in the current division. Christian reviews plan unit developments, conditional use permits, and small subdivision applications, collaborating with other departments. Christian has readily accepted any task he has been assigned, assisted with planners, and keeps the review process running smoothly. In all of his assignments, Christian works to ensure tasks are completed on time with an eye for the details. Because of his attention to detail and willingness to assist others, he's been recognized for his outstanding contributions to the team. Please join me in congratulating Christian. In addition to that, Christian is also celebrating the birth of a new baby, so let's congratulate him on that as well. Are there any other comments from any other commissioners? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn? Motion from Vice Chairman Grout, second from Commissioner Coleman. If there are no objections, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.